Alright, lads, so alongside all the abandoned news that we did get this morning, we also surprisingly, and this kind of came out of nowhere, got a new resurrection batch. It was announced this morning, it wasn't data mined, and this, for those that aren't aware, it might not seem hype because it's Kaien, YUMICHIKA, and also Renji, so they're not like the most exciting characters, but this is surprising and kind of exciting because we did get 2 resurrection batches this month. For those that weren't aware, it used to be the norm like a year or 2 ago, then they started to slow down and only do it once a month in the middle of the month, and the only times we ever got 2 resurrections is during an anniversary month, so July for the anniversary, end of year, so January, and also when the 1000 Year Blood War anime is airing, we would get a 1000 Year Blood War resurrection batch, and that would mean we get 2 resurrection batches in a month. This month, nothing going on, no anniversary, no 1000 Year Blood War anime, but we still ended up getting 2 resurrection batches. So hopefully this does mean going forward, at least for the foreseeable future, we continue to get 2 resurrection batches a month, because for those that do own the characters, like myself, that's an extra 400 orbs in any given month if you have all characters, which is really good. We also, again, have a lot of characters to get through, so it's nice to finally pick up the pace again, and we can start getting some of these characters resurrected that should have been resurrected quite some time ago. Now, with that said, because it is a premium banner, I'm not expecting the most crazy stuff here, but I'm hoping for some decent value in terms of maybe links. Mainly just the link stuff, I'm being honest. I have no hope for any of these characters. But with that said, we are over on BBS Simulator. Let's just have a look at what this character can get and what they deserve to get, right? Before we check out the actual skill reveal with the resurrections. So what we do know is that premium characters like this should be getting 8 skills. So in this case, he has Bruiser plus 20%, Devastation 40, Frenzy plus 1, Paralysis Duration, Sprinter plus 1, and also Weaken Defense. That right there is 6 skills, so he is going to pick up 2 new skills. I think the expected skill that he is going to pick up here is a 20% Berserker. Would be nice if they can go higher than 20% if I'm being honest. As for the second skill, since he already has Weaken Defense, they don't have to put that onto his Soul Bomb. They could give him follow-up, something weird like that. It would be nice for him to get Havoc. I don't think it would change the character all too much, but it would be nice to see him get, you know, a range increase. And I'm not the biggest Kaien fan, but I'm kind of supposed to be because I like Aaroniero, and one part about Aaroniero is that he does absorb Kaien. So by default, I'm kind of a Kaien fan too, right? So I kind of want to see his character get a somewhat decent resurrection. For the Soul Trait, I would love for him to pick up strong attack damage. Maybe they're not going to do that. We've been getting some really good links as of late. I would like to see recharge and maybe a status duration. Those links are actually good now thanks to the very hard guild quest. At the same time, recharge and lasting survival, I wouldn't even mind because I'd use that on my 8th anniversary Ichigo when I'm autoing IT. So I don't expect this character to get a crazy resurrection, but there is some potential here, right? So let's see what he is going to get. So Soul Bomb or Soul Trait is Drain Duration. Allow it. Allow it. Again, I am someone that is quite vocal. I do like the status element duration soul traits. I find the use in them and I use those soul traits. What I don't use though is a drain duration soul trait. You don't get inflicted by drain. There is barely any enemies in the game right now that inflict you with drain. The only time you get inflicted by drain is maybe in Senkamon. Maybe in Senkamon. Most importantly, it's in Brave battles and it's also in Arena, and you're not going to use that soul trait in Arena. You can't. It's only for himself. So realistically, you can only use this in Brave battles, and again, you're not going to do that either. I understand maybe they feel the need to just give it to someone, so the option is there if it ever needs to be usable, which I doubt. They've done that to Lacerate, and Lacerate's also not usable. It's kind of in the same ballpark. But you know, it's whatever. If they just want to do it once, I'm fine with it. Once in every attribute, okay, cool. But I'm hoping to never see more of those in the power attribute going forward into the future. Having a look at the skills, though, he got damage inflicted at full stamina plus 20% and also 20% Berserker. So a 40% damage increase overall. Just okay. Nothing crazy, right? Nothing crazy. No one's actually going to play with this character, even with his resurrection. The damage increase is nice. But what most people are interested in, myself included, is the Soul Trait. And unfortunately, it's not really a good one. This right here is just 75 orbs, which honestly ain't even too bad. That's the main point when it comes to resurrections, right? Next up, we have Renji, and this is a little tangent. I'm not sure what it is with this character. So he does fight with Zabimaru. He actually has a really cool visual for a premium character, a mid-month one at that too. But the frame rate for Zabimaru is like lower than the actual character. It's very weird looking. If you play with the character, you should know what I mean. But have a look at Renji. Again, 12% recharge, we might get strong attack damage. We've been getting a lot of, strong attack damage soul traits, especially in the last, 4 or so months, right? Where we've had anniversary resurrections, we've had seasonal resurrections, we've had 1,000-year blood resurrections. We've been getting some of the best links in the entire game over the last 4 months. So I feel like this banner might be the cooldown banner. No one really cares about these characters all too much, right? Whether they get shafted or not. Just the idea of them getting resurrected is cool, right? Especially this month where we should have only gotten 1 resurrection batch. So they might use this opportunity to again once more give him maybe stamina recovery, maybe a status augment duration, or maybe even last ditch. Again, I don't mind those links as long as it's not drain or lacerate duration. We'll find out, right? When it comes to the skills though, he has a 20% bruiser, a 40% devastation, 2 immunities, frontier +1, weaken attack, and also sprinter +1. In this case, he has 7 skills. The skill he is missing here is 20% berserker. He is most likely going to be given that. Let's have a look, shall we? So scrolling down, soul trait is stamina in between quests. Not a bad soul trait. I don't use those much nowadays, to be fair. We'll take it though. If we actually have a look at our power attribute, those that do have recharge and also, stamina recovery, there are 3 links that already do exist. Now there's a 4th one with this Renji. Again, it's not like the most optimal link, but I'll take it. I always like having more options. Maybe you want to have this particular soul trait and you don't have access to these 3 particular characters. I can see the use of it, especially if you're trying to auto content. But for me personally, when I'm autoing content like carp content, for example, the more difficult content that does require having heals, most of the time I am actually using drain characters that can reliably heal themselves back up to full stamina. But I will be lying if I said that I never use these. There are times, mainly in IZ, for example, when I'm autoing, I do actually use Retsu or Nanao. I'd probably still opt in to use Retsu Mill because she does offer more heals. But again, not everyone's going to own the past character, especially if you're in like a newer account and maybe don't have some of the old characters, but for some reason have him. Decent link, decent link. As for the skill upgrade though, he did get what is expected, 20% berserker. So that's fun. Nothing too crazy. I'm not expecting anything too crazy, but even in the soul trait factor, nothing thus far that I actually even needs. But the question is, can YUMICHIKA save it? Potentially, more so in the soul trait aspect. So what we have here is that he's a rare last ditch survivor 100%. If they give him 10% recharge, I like it. Again, I like me some recharge and last ditch links. I believe the tech actually has access to 2 of those. So if he was to pick up recharge here, which would be beneficial for the character, wouldn't make him anything crazy, but it would make him technically better. The 10% recharge would actually be quite good here. I can make use of that. They could give him damage inflicted at low stamina, which would also make sense and would also be quite a good soul trait for those maybe NAD characters that want to be at low stamina. It's a very rare playstyle, but that playstyle is there, and a link like that would push the playstyle to be further more usable. A status augment duration would not be good here. Stamina recovery would make sense, but would also not be good here. Realistically, what we want to see here is either low stam damage or recharge. When it comes to the skills though, Bruiser, Debilitator, Devastation, Frenzy, Long Reach, and also Sprinter +1. He of course does have 6 skills here. He's going to pick up 2 new skills. The most likely outcome here is going to be 20% Berserker and also maybe 20% more damage to paralyzed enemies, something like that. They clearly don't want to give every character Havoc, which is kind of unfortunate. Havoc would make a lot of characters better, but even then, to be fair, had he picked up Havoc, if he does, I don't know, it wouldn't really change him all too much, right? He's got, in particular, some really bad strong attacks, right? This, for those that are wondering, was a time before strong attacks started to become a bit more streamlined. That realistically happened a few months after this character, around the time Spirit Society Byakuya did release, which might get resurrected in 2 weeks' time, probably not. Who knows? But yeah, he has like the really bad SA2, which isn't that ideal, right? But checking out YUMICHIKA, let's see the Soul Bomb. Damage inflicted at low stamina. So I'll take it. I would have preferred recharge, but this does make sense. This does make sense. I don't mind it. Probably the only good soul trait in the, I guess, Renji is a decent soul trait. This one, again, is also decent. The problem with this, and even though I said it was a good one for him, it is a good soul trait. He got exactly what he kind of wanted. This combination is good, and it makes sense. It's just that, again, you don't really ever go with low stamina damage builds, right? But if there ever is a time and place for low stamina damage builds, this would be a good soul trait to have. Actually, speaking of, what we don't have is low stamina and recharge. I think that would actually be a good combination. Again, it would still be a rare one, but we need more of that. I wouldn't mind if they started to give characters recharge and low stamina, because we get a lot of recharge and full stam soul traits, but we have plenty of those now. Would be nice to see them encourage, recharge and low stamina. And essentially, he got exactly what I expected. He got the 20% Berserker, and he also did get 20% more damage to paralyzed enemies. So, in terms of a resurrection batch, nothing too crazy. Soul traits, you probably won't even use. Overall, nothing too crazy, right? Had we waited a whole month for this, I would have been a bit more disappointed if I'm being honest, but I'll take it. I'm more happy and surprised that we even got this resurrection right now. I wasn't expecting it, so I'm happy to have 200 more orbs on my account starting tomorrow when they do release. And again, I think the hope here is that they continue on with this schedule, a resurrection batch every 2 months, because that's a really good schedule, and we still have a lot of characters to go through. If we have a look at characters that have yet to be resurrected, who would be next in line? If it is a premium banner, it's actually going to be Weekend, Ikkaku, and also Tosho, which is actually a pretty decent banner. There's some potential there for some good soul traits and potential good characters, mainly with Kenpachi because he is a Brave Battle character. We are slowly approaching Khan for Your Own World to get resurrected. Again, just because they're almost next up, even though we kind of already skipped past them, doesn't mean they will happen anytime soon. I think Caleb are trying to wait for a good time to do them. When that good time is, I'm not too sure. Hopefully sometime next year, right? And I guess, again, there is potential they could do the YUMICHIKA KAIEN and also Renji banner, because they did do the Halloween banner that came out 2 weeks before this banner 2 weeks ago. Realistically, this would have been more appropriate to do it now. And again, there's actually some potential there with these 3 characters, because as I just mentioned, this was kind of the start of the really good God kit. High Berserker, or at the time it was high, having Berserker and a good kit was rare, with Havoc. So I'm looking forward to their resurrections. That could be done in 2 weeks. If not, it's going to be Byakuya, Toshiro, and also Ikkaku. Either way, looking forward to either of their resurrections. Either way though, lads, hope you guys enjoyed the video. In the comments below, let me know what you guys think about these resurrections. I don't think anyone really has high opinions of them. Don't even know if I'm going to bother showcasing them, I'm going to be honest. Again, I'm just more happy to have the extra orb income this month. As always though, appreciate making it to the end of the video. Use code SPARTA for 10% off Gamer Subs. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care and peace.